everybody, and welcome back to POD podcast by Gulshan. And today we have someone who's really interesting. She's my doctor as well, and she's a functional medicine doctor. Now, what is that? We'll find out today. How it can help PODs, we'll find out. I haven't done research. I am just sitting like you, wondering what is functional medicine. So let's find out. We have, thank you so much, doctor, for being here. It really means a lot. So this is Dr. Henna, and
No, thank you, Gulshan. Thank you for having me here. And thank you for always inviting me to all the SFS events because I think I've also grown from that. I think the first time we met was at
the anniversary.
Yeah, the anniversary. And that was the first time I had actually seen a community like that. Right? Because otherwise we're just seeing people in the hospital and the clinic setup. But having had a chance to witness that, that was good. So after that, I think I've been there for your book launch. Then
And I think it was what amazed you was that everyone was having fun.
Yes.
Nobody was sitting and crying, oh, my child has autism and my child has this. Or, the adult is misbehaving. Nobody cares. In SFS,
Yes.
you just be who you want to be and you're accepted for that.
Yeah,
And
that
I
is
think-
very important because just I was telling you, right, in the morning itself, I met a family. They have a child who's newly diagnosed with autism, and you can see that they're just all over the place. And the first thing I was like, okay, you really need to be a part of a community. Because when you're part of a community, therapies are important, but the environment where you are surrounding yourself with is equally important because it's very easy in this fast paced world where people tend to lose hope, and I think that should not happen to anyone. And that child, especially the child that who he is, I mean, he doesn't have anything genetic abnormal about him, so he has potential. And that's what I was saying. No, please, you have to first believe in yourself and your kid and surround yourself with the right people. So that
And
is
you
important.
can't fill a cup empty.
Exactly.
You can't. So even I have been an advocate for empowering the mothers,
Yes.
especially the mothers, because once you empower her, the whole house seems to fall into place. So what exactly is, you are a medical doctor,
Yes, I am a
and
medical
after
doctor.
that you studied functional medicine.
Okay,
What
so
is
how it was is so there is a thing. Okay, so I did my medical education here in Gulf Medical University. So I did that. Then I did my internship in Abu Dhabi. Then I was very interesting. I did I did a USMLE. Then I went to US and stuff. So I was doing my like a typical doctor, going and seeing patients. So I kept working. I got a decent job after coming back. So I was doing my job and stuff like that. So what happened? There was a reason I wanted to become a physician. I was a very pampered child in the house. Okay, so even being an elder daughter, it was always my younger sister who was the more responsible one. I was like, because my sister started working when she was just 16, 17. So I used to get pocket money from her. I used to get pocket money from my mom and my dad. So I was always very loaded, very pampered, always knew wanted to do medicine because I was like, Nene, I want to be into a field of medicine. I want to be a part of the God's process of bringing new life into this universe because I was very interested in obs and gynae. But unfortunately, as you can see, I'd never got into that field. I didn't get residency in that. I had tried for 2 years. Then I was like, okay, if that is not working out, I just went into the general practice and stuff. And when I started meeting people, I love to see people. I love to know their stories. I might not remember your name, but I will always remember you from your story because I love to hear what is going on and stuff. And that is what I started doing in my practice. And over a period of time, in my 5 years, I understood, okay, what is happening in the medical field is doctors are not having time, they're not giving them time to the patients, and that's why the people and the patients are coming to me, they like me because I'm giving them the time, but I'm getting yelled at by my management. Doctor, 7 minutes, that is all you have to give. 15 max you can push it. But You can't give more time than that. So there was always a debate. I was like, how do I treat somebody if you're just giving me that? I mean, if I'm sitting here for this normal cough, cold, and fever, I'm sitting and writing paracetamol and, just take an antibiotic course of antibiotics. I mean, that is not something that was fueling me. I didn't like to do that. So I knew there was something more. So I started researching how else can I help them, where I can actually give them the time, because people want to be heard. There are so many symptoms that they are having. And that, as a medical practitioner, gives you a clue. I don't want to do something which is a band-aid effect. You're having a fever? Okay, let me put your temperature down. I'm giving you paracetamol. Okay, 4 days.
And the fever will come
But
down.
what about what
Why?
has caused
What
it?
caused it?
What
Yeah.
is causing it? Why? So there was always, because see, you are trained as a medical doctor very well on what medicine will fit what symptom. Okay? You have trained beautifully in that. But very rarely we ask why. What is the problem? Why? Every time you're getting headache, you will take a Panadol. Every time you're getting a headache, a Panadol. But why is the headache happening? Why is this patient of mine coming every month to take one full pack? That why is what functional medicine
And
doctors
sometimes
abuse.
it's just dehydration for
Yes,
the migraine.
sometimes why do you want to give a paracetamol and affect your liver and kidneys unnecessarily? Now there are so many studies that it has side effects. Something simple. But so in that 5 years, I mean, I was not a really satisfied physician because I really wanted to give time. But in that time, also something in my personal life struck me. My sister got diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. So when she got diagnosed, it was a very bad auto. She was systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE. People know it as lupus. And it was a very bad one because she lost her eyesight, left eyesight. Then she had multiple seizures. She had fluid in her lungs. Her kidneys were failing. Doctors said, that's it. She has to be put on a transplant.
Dialysis.
No. वो तो
transplant.
उतना खराब said, they said no. And I happened to be the potential donor. And I had recently gotten married. She looked at me because we were going through one full year of ICU admissions and all of these things, because she was having seizures and her hemoglobin was 4. Her parameters were all with that 4 digit. Platelets 4,000. So it was very bad. She couldn't do anything. She was put on steroids. She was put on all the chemo drugs. So I saw that one year she was not thriving. It's like just because she has to keep breathing, all these medicines were given, and my colleagues but she was not thriving. She was like,
She
if
was
this
surviving.
is, yeah, she's just like, this is a thing. And when the kidney transplant thing came, she's like, okay, she put her foot down. She's like, I would rather not take any medicine. Are you not a doctor? Why are you not healing me? This is not healing. This taking medicine. So, something happened in my own household. It was like a reality thing, because you always just see patients just in your office and that's it. But something that happened in my own house when you're watching a live case, and believe me, Gulshan, my parents have never taken us to the doctor. We were a household where we were eating food through the seasons. There was nothing called as doctor visit. What is doctor visit? You're having cough, cold, okay, they'll make that ginger
Kada.
tea and something and kada, the tulsi kada, and my mom would. So it was never, that notion was not there. And then suddenly for my parents, again, lupus, what is lupus? What is autoimmune? And what is idiopathic? Because it's a very, in medically we say, so when my parents are, how did she get it? Oh, it's idiopathic. Idiopathic means cause unknown. But how? What do you mean cause unknown? But of course, so that is the reason I dived into functional medicine. That journey of lifestyle and functional medicine happened for me because I was trying to find answers on how can I make things better for my sister. And in that journey, I stepped into this dynamics. And now when you look at her, she is, her vision has come back. Even that ophthalmologist has said she has a blind spot in her left eye. That's why she avoids to drive. She doesn't like to drive. She finds it uncomfortable. She's got that. Her parameters improved. Yes, her creatinine is on a higher level than the normal. Like she has protein, but she's not on steroids. She's not on chemo drugs. She's not on any of those things. Why? Because she understood And we've worked towards making lifestyle choices improvement. My mom has given her heart and soul to follow. I was like, Mama, I've made this plan. We've done the test. Look, we have to make her eat these kind of things during
Only.
this journey, because we are, because there is a phase when you're trying to heal autoimmune, there is an inflammation in the body, so we are trying to heal her, right? So first step is to reduce inflammation, so only this food. It's not like a completely your lifelong deprived, no, like when you're healing for that time. So she did that for 1 full year with my, it's not easy for my mom. Whatever you're cooking out now, it has to be measured, these ingredients only, everything, because her kidneys, they had to be careful about the quantity of water that they were, even because she had a restricted amount for what she was supposed to drink and what could be used in her food, all that. But we managed with that. But that was just, I could tell you, 20%, because the majority is how my parents kept the household environment. Mind. When a mind gives up, so in functional medicine also, in lifestyle and functional, there's a very crucial aspect. We always say we will give you a protocol, we will give you supplements, but the most important aspect is you need to have a positive mindset. And that positive mindset happens if you've surrounded yourself with the right people. So my parents were something that, because she went into this whole notion of why me? Why me? I don't believe in. She was going into that. But that positive talks, patiently listening to all her queries, and my father positively answering those questions back, so that she doesn't lose her faith, she doesn't give up. So now when people, because people who have known us, they thought she's not going to survive. So when they look at my sister, they're like, she's alive.
And thriving now.
And thriving. She's doing so much better for herself. She's doing so much better for, how Indian society, a ladki hai. She's a girl, who is going to marry her? These are the things that come up, right? But no, she's doing pretty well. She did not only fight her illness, she got her CFA exams cleared in first attempt, which nobody gets it. She sat in ICU. So that motivation, what motivated her? Because she didn't let her mind get heavy, that is it. And how was that possible in those ICU
The
beds?
support.
My father and my mother have just stayed in Bombay. I can never forget. That time was very difficult for us because we did not know. They had to manage the finances. I was just newly married. What was happening? We did not know at that time. And it was, and my sister's like, now my mother has to give me bath. My mother has to put clothes on me. Ye kaisa hai? Because she was stiffed with the steroids. But yes, that journey, it was not a 1 day, 2 day thing. It has taken us good 1 year. We tried to get her off. In the second year, third year, she is thriving. She does. And seeing that, when I say that, I don't want people to have a misunderstanding, oh, now she's lupus free. No, she will always have that lupus. She has understood her body, that she knows that I cannot eat outside food for a very long time. It doesn't work well because the oil that they are using, she doesn't know. So she consumes outside food very rarely. If she only consumes from sources that she knows, because she knows that autoimmune. Now, 6 months back, she gave up on her job because it was a very toxic and it was taking a toll on her health, and she started getting a skin reaction. So she knows that stressful environment don't work for me. So she came out of that. She started. So these triggers is something she has started understanding. The idea
and listening. I think we all
Yes.
should just listen to our body.
Very,
It
very
tells us
important.
so many things.
Your body is sending out signals. You don't have the time to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because in lifestyle and functional, that is the key. We want you to become independent because we teach you how to. Now, is she going to a physician? It's just a regular checkup. You don't have to depend. She knows, okay, this works for me, this food is work, because she, in these, over a period of time, she has learned to understand her body. And that is the idea. It's not a 1 or 2 day fix. And that was the reason I could not work in a private practice anymore. I wanted to do something on my own, because now I don't have anybody telling me, okay, doc, 15 minutes, patient out. I don't have that. I give my patients, every patient, actually I stopped calling them patient or client also. We call them members, because that has a good frequency energy to it. That's what's one of the Reiki members told me, Rina, don't say client, because now we shifted in medical also fraternity. We stopped calling them patient, because when you call them patient, they also feel like patient. So we stopped using that word. Then we shifted to client, and now off late somebody told me call them members. So I liked that word, and I was like, oh yeah, member is good. And so when they come in, I want to make them feel, first thing, anybody who walks into my office, I want them to feel that they are being heard. I don't like to do the I would like to hear them. I want them to vent out whatever that they have, and then the healing starts. It is because your body has the ability to heal if you give it a chance. And that direction needs to be given. So I always wanted to be that physician, that anytime they think about the doctor, oh yeah, I need to go to doctor. And you know why? Because she listens. And that is something that I liked to do. And because if I have put somebody on a certain protocol, if I'm detoxing them or something, they're always on my mind. Kini, how are they doing? Has the symptoms exaggerated or not? So you will see my WhatsApp is always spammed with messages. Hey doc, I was so happy because before coming today, one mother said, Doctor, 1 week my son has not asked for chocolate. Yeah, it was like a thing, because I'm on a detox journey with that child, and I was like, yes, that's good. And so these are small wins. So I know right now, in the field of medicine, in the field of wellness, in the field of healing, people are not healing because they are not feeling heard. What my practice does is we make you feel heard, and from there, understanding what is the underlying root cause. If you are a pre-diabetic, if you are having a thing, if you're having a pre-diabetic, what will a conventional doctor tell you?
Go on.
Yeah,
Medical,
pre-diabetic,
yeah.
still he'll tell you, okay, in 1 week, give yourself 1 month, work on your food and work on your work out, and come back. If your HbA1c is still above the normal range, I will start you on medication. This is the answer, right? I wanted to change that narrative. My colleagues called me mad. I was like, listen, did you ask if everybody knows junk food is bad, but why do they eat it? We all know it. Smoking is bad. It's there on the packing. Still, majority do it. Why? Yeah. Because that person has lost that motivation. There's no hope. If that pre-diabetic person who has stepped into the office, the reason for the pre-diabetes, yes, okay, food, environment, but maybe the real reason is the stress. The person is having financial issues or family issues. You will not fix the stress, then how will you change that? So that is again an aspect of lifestyle and function, that when you understand that the triggering point, it is not food or a physical activity related, but on an emotional quotient, we start there. Where is the medicine in this?
So you're a psychiatrist,
No, we're
a
not a
psychologist,
No,
a
we're not a
physician, all in one. That is what makes a functional.
The
You're
function
listening.
we understand,
And
then
then
there is
you're listening, no?
When we understand stress as a trigger, then we tell them, okay, then there is a sophrologist in my team. She takes care of them. So then or NLP practitioner, they take over. So we motivate. Why to put on a pill when you can just change the narrative that is inside the stress? Stress is a reason. So we start teaching them how they can deal with that stressors.
I think for children and adults on the spectrum, you're like a godsend.
No,
Because
it's not that.
so many children on the autism spectrum are nonverbal.
Yes.
And the meltdowns come because they can't communicate. A lot of them.
I'll tell you something honestly, Gulshan. In my beginning of my career, I've not dealt with children. But I was known as a Hitler in my pediatric department. All the kids used to fear me. Why? Because Dr. Hina is coming. That's it. She'll give us a big, long injection. All the nurses would fail. But I'll tell you, we used to have postings, right? So children, though I never used to like. I started becoming fond of kids after having my own. That maternal instincts got awakened only after that. But before that, it wasn't there. I'll tell you, I'll share a story with you because, I feel how the circle of life connects, because I wanted to be an obstetric gynae just to bring the child into
the world and
but
then
that's
give it
just
to the
hand it
mother.
over to the pediatrician. But how this changed, because I remember it in Abu Dhabi when I was in Mafraq Hospital, and in SKMC we used to have these posting where autism and Down syndrome children would come. And I used to be like, oh, why do I have to do this? And during that time, I was going through I had my own personal emotional breakdown going, and I was away from family and stuff. So I was going through this posting. Every time I used to go to that posting, I would first see one car always parked, because we had night shifts, and I'm like, "Ye kaun hai?" And I would see the family sleeping inside the car. I was like, what weird people. Why are they sleeping inside the car and all? So I did not know. The next day that I went, and I'm like, oh, it's the same family. That family, just because the child is of special needs, okay? And so they were coming to get treatment with this neurologist at that time. They used to stay in Ras Al Khaimah. And they were just coming up because this was one doctor that they were able to connect with so well. And he did not dust them off. So they were doing, they were moving mountains just to make sure that the child gets treatment. And that was the first time in my life I actually saw a parent, and and if I had to tell you, were they grumpy or they were happily, it was like a picnic they were doing. But I understood that day ki, wow, your parents, because I wasn't a parent. I was just like doing my rotations, and I'm still like in my early
Like how
20s.
far parent will go.
How far that parent went to move mountains just so that the child can thrive, because the other child is normal, but they didn't let that other child, because during that therapies that they were receiving over there, I saw that how the parents were trying to balance, so that younger one doesn't feel that you are in this world because of the older one, and the older one was also, so it was like a family thing. But they were in that worn clothes, you could tell that they are managing everything, but they didn't let that thing reflect on that child. So I saw that first. I learned the sacrifice of the parents from there. So I have high regards for parents who have children of determined, because I know what because as a physician, you're always on the other side, but as a human being, you also want to connect, and how much that person is giving up on their own life. They give up a lot, and they just need somebody to just be like, how are you? Because sometimes I don't realize, but when I get testimonials or something, and when they write, Dr. Henna was the only doctor who actually asked me, how am I doing? She didn't go and ask, how is the child? Because maybe it came from that, not something that I do, but so that was the first thing. Second thing, when I was during that rotation, as much as I hated kids, but those children, there was one boy, and those were my, I was maybe on a very emotional. He would just come, no eye contact, nothing. He would just come and put his, and at that moment, I saw, and my neurologist is looking at me, why are you crying? Why are there tears in your eyes? I was like, I have no idea, doc, but he just came and he just kept his hand on my hand, and I felt like somebody's telling me at the time,
Everything's gonna be
everything
okay.
is fine. At that time, those connections, even now, parents get surprised when they see me with their children. They're like, Doc, we don't know how they are connecting with you. One parent told me, Doctor, your energy is good. No, that's where they're connecting with you. I don't have to work really hard to connect with those children, because firstly, I don't think they need sympathy. They don't. Please. I think we need to be sympathized with more, to be very honest, with the corruption that we have to deal with. But they are so honest, so pure. They've got, people are wearing masks, they are so like transparent. So no, so I think maybe that is something. I don't think of them as something like
Different,
alien.
yeah.
No, that is one thing. But I think that also changed. So when circle of life. So when I come to think of why am I seeing so many autistic children, Down syndrome, Down syndromes or cerebral palsy, then I remember, who knew that connection that I was happening, because I've done art therapies with those children. I would do those play sessions with those children during the to assess them during my rotations. Who knew? And what I liked something about them, they didn't bother me. They were not like the other kids. I would go at the pediatric to just go and shout them, because 12 o'clock in the night they're coming out playing kitty party. What is this? So I was like, no. At least they didn't do that. And I think it's the energy. As you grow older, as you mature, you understand that it's not the number of people You want the quality of people. And now, starting my own practice, running a business, you will meet people who are very shrewd. It's all about money, and I don't do business conventionally. You will, if you meet any of my partners or collaborators, they'll be like, "Oh, Doctor, in a standard line, I don't do conventional." I'm sorry. If that is what you're looking for, I don't. Why? Because if money gets on my head, I'm also a practitioner. For me, it is very important that my heart connects to that patient of mine and member of mine, because then the healing will start. Doctor were given in India, we say doctor Bhagwan ka roop hai. I mean, I don't want to be God, okay, but I don't even think that compare. But there is one single prayer that I do every single day, and I tell God, I was like, listen, you are the healer. Just make me that source that whoever comes to my office today, that I can just help. That is my only prayer. I don't think I do miracles. I don't. People's body, I tell them, you have that ability. You believe in yourself, it will happen. That is the thing. So this is not business. So that's why I don't have fixed prices or stuff like that. I cannot do that, especially for children of determination that I'm treating. I cannot. I try to,
So
bend it.
how exactly are you treating? Like someone comes in and says, I have a 3-year-old, or when should they come? When the autism diagnosis has been given to them, they should come and see you.
Yeah. So what happens is, whenever a diagnosis is made of autism or speech delay or a developmental delay, oftentimes we blame it either on the neurodevelopmental aspect or genetic. But remember, there are multiple factors, right? Multiple factors. So in functional medicine, I'm not saying we are removing the label, but something called as inflammation in the body, something that the child is unable to communicate, that they are feeling that irritation. So when your child is not communicating, there's a speech delay, or they are having these aggressive behaviors, stimming is there, or they are constantly hitting themselves or going and eating the pieces of the wall or the crayons. This is their body is shouting and saying that there is inflammation, something is really happening
Going on.
inside me. Treat that. So that is what in functional medicine and lifestyle medicine we try to reduce those. So if a parent today say, oh, they've stopped eating the wall paint, they've stopped eating, and they're not craving for chocolates. Why? Because children with autism, children with Downs, children with they have these microorganisms, parasites, inflammation, heavy metal toxicity. These are the things which is what is triggering these things. So what you see are the symptoms. What I'm doing is, okay, he has that symptom. Okay, why is the cause? Is heavy metal the cause? Parasite is the cause.
And are there blood
Yeah.
tests for these?
So in functional medicine, we do a special functional medicine test, right? Because in your gut is a full different environment. In heavy metals, that's a whole different thing. You need to know what heavy metals are there inside your body, because how do you detox them? Very often we see aluminium, very often we see mercury. These are the things commonly that you see in children with and when we start detoxing them from these heavy metals, we see improvement, because you cannot take away the importance of speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavior therapy. This is required. What we are doing is giving that child a chance to thrive and to make most out of these therapies, because you start improving his insides, right? Because when right now we are saying neurotypical, neurodiverse and all, but now I feel there is no difference between even a neurotypical child. Why? Because they are having like everybody is fidgety, everybody is having skin. You will see children with skin issues. What is happening? Everybody's gut is problematic. Now in those children, at least they keep up and say my stomach is aching, or they're not having proper bowel motion. But with these children, parents think it is normal, so they are not able to communicate. So that's why the treatment for them takes longer. So what we do is we complement the therapies that they're doing. So when you fix the gut brain axis improves, because you see brain has to be this way, right? In autism there is this gap. Why are children with autism so creative? Because the creativity neural connections are close by. That's why they can do creativity very nicely. But the decision making or
But
the
then they'll
fear.
hyper focus only on that.
Yes, because that connection in the brain is very close circuit, right? But the decision making and all is back. So the circuit is time is long. That's why they're not able to. It takes them time. It's not like they're not able to. When inflammation is there, instead of this, it becomes like this. So we have to reduce that. That's when we start seeing improvement. Because again, I will tell you, there are multiple factors. Let's say genetic is not one of the factors that has been identified for the cause of autism, but when we see, oh, there was a folate receptor deficiency, oh, let's do something, if we can fix that, you see improvements. You give a child a chance to thrive. That's why one
So what
treatment
is
doesn't
it?
work.
You're giving supplements?
Yes. So what we do through food and through functional medicine supplements. Now again, quality of supplements, you have to be so careful. Even me, I never in my prescription write a brand. I never write brand. Only if somebody asks me, doctor, which one no you recommend, I'll listen. Because problem is the ones that I know for sure, they are more expensive than the ones that you get in the pharmacy. Most of the time, or sometimes, but I don't support brands. You will see I don't have any thing. Why? But as a practitioner, I understand, okay, this particular supplement is liposomal based. This particular supplement is mitochondrial based. Now, for a normal public, this is a vitamin D only.
Yeah.
What is liposomal? What is mitochondrial? They have got no
And one
idea.
is 100 dirham, one is
Yes.
250 dirham.
So they know that for a common man, that knowledge is not there. But I'll tell you, Gulshan, that now, because of the certain supplements, which the ones that I write, and the parents are like, no, doctor, whatever brand you're saying, because whatever brand you're saying, you do it. Now, every 3 months when they will order the same thing because they saw the difference. Because you
So
can
you are
give the thing.
definitely not getting paid by
No,
farmers.
I don't, and because I don't like that, because हम लोग का in private practice there was a whole commission system. Even that time when I used to get that, and I'm like, listen, take this. I would go and give it back to the reception. Like, listen, anybody who cannot pay, just use it, because I would feel like because psychologically what it happens is that you're forced to just write those medicine, and I think that bias should not be there as a practitioner. You have to, so that's why all prescription
Like once we
do.
went to India, after, I mean, we had gone after a long time. And I think one of my daughters was sick. So we called the physician, he wrote Dolo. I said, sorry, but what is Dolo? So I said, write Crocin, na? Because we've been taking Crocin our whole life.
Yes.
So he said, no, it's Dolo. I said, then I asked everybody, even my sister called me, she said, just give Dolo. I said, what is Dolo?
Yeah.
So whole of, I don't know about India, but whole of Bombay switched to Dolo.
Yeah.
So what was going on and why it happened?
See, I'll tell you. See, again, brands, of course, they do their positioning in that way. That is how it's the unfortunate thing about the business. So I'm telling you that there is everybody, like, but to hear medicine mein business, I mean, that sounds bad. You talk about textile business, you talk about car business. I mean, it's very easy for people to digest. But medicine mein business.
I watched this Raj Samani's podcast with a cardiologist. And he said there are 3 types. One who tells you, do a ECG, and only he can read it, right?
Yes.
So he reads it, he tells you, oh my God, ICU. Then he puts you in ICU. He says either bypass, or he sees how much money you have. So either bypass or a stent. And the third one, the patient has no money. So he says, okay, you go home, you'll be fine, change your lifestyle. But it's so sad that things like this are happening. And yeah.
It is. See, Gulshan, there are 2 ways, right? Like, I can, like, as a practitioner who has left the comfort of getting a very good salary and doing something of my own, because I was paid really well. Okay, to get out of that comfort, to not knowing what you will make. So it is, for me, I want to sleep at the end of the day knowing that, okay, they are okay. You
I
know,
made a difference. Yeah.
there has been some difference. That is something I like. That is me as a person that I like to do. That's the reason I do. But I'll also tell you, there have been days, there are ups and downs. Now, 2 years my practice that I'm doing. In this 2 years, it's been a roller coaster, because I started with this thing. Yes, I'll be that physician who's going to listen and who's going to help people identify the root cause and everything. But do you think everybody is acceptive towards that? No. Because
They want a quick fix.
everybody wants a quick fix. I always tell them, listen, this is not Zomato or Noon, 15 minutes. Oh, yes, 15 minutes. My gut issues are going to be solved. It doesn't work like that. And the notion of everything being free, discounted.
I mean,
I'm
you came to
sorry.
my house. You came to my house to see utensils.
Yes.
What are we using? How are we doing it? What oil we are using? Or not oil, ghee. But now not ghee also after. But I mean, you spend time getting to know me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
So-
important for me. I mean, because if I understand a home environment, you understand, okay, fine, what is happening. I mean, it's a simple thing. Like, I go to people's house and I see they don't let the sunlight inside the house. I think that's the worst thing you can do. How will you fix your circadian rhythm? Why is your sleep not being
Disturbed,
good? Because you don't have sunlight in your house. You don't let that happen. These are simple things. Simple things. I mean, I could sit in my office and ask you the same questions, but where is that personal touch? And I always want to feel connected. I want my members to feel connected, that they can be like. So even now, when they are having just a normal cough, cold, fever, I will get a thing. Oh, doc, I was having this. I've got a fix, but I'm gonna start back on my food. It is much better than before. I've not relapsed, but I didn't take antibiotics, so I'll get that message. So it is there, because I feel if we can heal one family at a time, we can create a ripple effect.
I wish all doctors were like you.
I-
And there were more doctors like you.
No,
Seriously.
There
I mean,
are, Gulshan, but that's why I said, from the consumer, I think people who listen to your podcast, I think I would just tell them, I mean, understand the value in where you're doing, because everything cannot be about writing a prescription or doing a tests, that motivation has to be there. I understand it is very difficult when you're seeing, okay, because when you're seeing a child who's aggressive, a child who's rolling over the floor and, having tantrums, because there are more bad days than good days, right? So that's why I see that hopelessness in people. But, if you just give that chance and see, I won't say, oh, I'm the only physician. I have other colleagues who are also equally dedicated to, I have a good team who spend time with people, and they're very passionate about what they do. Because find the right people, because then you will feel ki, yeah, you're growing together. I always say it's a phase. Then once you have, when I have a file of you, you'll be there with me. So all these children, they started with me when they were 3 years old. Now they are 6 years old. So I will still give them a call. You will come to me once, but I will still follow up with you. It's like a thing that I like to do.
so maybe you should start a little support group
We
with
started-
all your members.
Yes, we
I can
do.
come and guide them. And
we started something called a sip and chat. So we had our first one on the 17th. So again over there, it's important, and it's not a paid event or stuff like that. It was a free thing. Why? Because I'm big on health awareness. Because there are a lot of topics, and I feel that many people are not aware of the things that are available, and they're trying to do things in an old way, or they don't know what a simple fix. Like I told you, the sunlight thing, it's a simple fix.
when I found out about my daughter Zara, 28 years back, I had no one to share with what I was going through. And I had never experienced some other mom who was in my situation. So I didn't know, is this normal or not, or what should I be doing? And so I, what is the word, internalized everything. and that took a toll on my health. And I was just going like down, down, because I didn't have anyone to share with. Okay, then the support group started, and the first time, there was a mother of a 21-year-old young woman, and she was crying. I said, oh my God, I never want to be like her. I mean, she's still not accepted. And I said, that's not where. I mean, it was like her wound was still raw, and she
Yes.
was crying. And, I made up my mind that I'm not going to allow myself to go. But I still went down and down and down. So it has taken a toll on my health. And my message for all new parents is go see her. And there is hope, And even if there's not, at least you'll be cleansing everything that's.
Because now in the terms of science, because see, everything in this country you have to be having evidence-based practice. Okay, so again, I'm not some wellness coach or stuff like that. No, so I am a firm believer that no, there has to be evidence. We also listen to the people, what they are going through, because the science has advanced and you can do the test. When I say science has advanced, the treatment or the management has become more ancient, what
Yeah.
our grandparents or the great great grandparents used to do. So you see, with the advancements, we have realized, oh, what they did was the best thing.
Yeah. What they ate was like
Exactly.
the best.
Now, because we don't have the control over the quality of food. So many times when I get mothers, when they have done the gut test for their children or the heavy metal test, and the protocol that I give them is on the food that they're supposed to eat in week 1 or week 2, and so like, doctor, how will we know the quality of food?
Yeah.
That is a very common thing. Yes, as much as we cannot control the quality of food, but when, especially with the green leafy vegetables or the fruit, the way we wash them is very important. So you have to wash it in apple cider vinegar and baking soda, soak it, wash it. So you want to remove all those extra fertilizers and whatever they've sprayed on it. That, and if somebody can afford a Kenyan water at home, they should do that, because that is the best water. It removes off all the thing. But again, if you can, you can. Otherwise, you do it with apple cider. Majority to at least goes away. That is one thing. So how you, from when you pick up your food to how you wash it, how you store it, that is very important. And at least grow one herb in your house. It could be oregano, it could be mint, it could be tulsi, it could be even methi. One herb, grow it in your house, because that is one thing that you have homegrown. It's very easily grown in your kitchen. You can get kitchen case, you can make it. Why? Because every time you add those little substance, the microorganisms, the good bacteria that you will get from that will anyways help clear the
Yeah,
inflammation. It's good for everybody in the family. Everybody. So just one herb if you can grow. So that is how you heal. Because we can't control the consumers. We can control our mouth. We can control our choices that we make. Then how you do it? Because see, you don't have to not relish your life. So let's say, okay, around New Year's will come, everybody wants to eat and all of their party. But okay, I've had something, I'm just going to let my body detox. So you start on 1 week. So, you understand your body, you give your body that time. It's not like every day I'm going to keep having chaat and laddu and outside food, masala. No, you can't do that. Then you're just harming your body. I think everybody, it's like, no, it's not about being slim or thin. No, it's about being fit from inside. Looking thin on the outside becomes a byproduct. So if you're not fit on the inside, no matter what, there's something, there's a test that we do, like true age. You can understand your biological age and your chronological, so from your chronological age. So like we did it for my sister. So she is 34, but because of her illness and everything, her biological age is 60. Because you see what happens when you are taking so much of steroids and chemo and all of that. You're aging your organs faster. That's what happens. That's the reason while you're healthy. My only thing is, don't disregard your good health. And children, whether for children of determination, people of determination,
Children and adults.
yes, both of them,
They can all be helped.
both of them understand this. Your body is your true temple, that you just have it once. So more you work on it, anything you do, whether it comes to your decision making skills or your skills in your work life, everything balances out. Everything. Work on your body, that is the most important thing. Work will happen. Work is always never ending. And for children who for parents who see that the children are having these gut issues, bloating, and so that there is inflammation, because the gut and brain is connected. The the neurotransmitters are things that needs to be produced for your brain to function properly. If your gut is not functioning properly, it's getting clogged, how will the neurotransmitters be released? How will whatever you're teaching that get retained? It won't. So clean this. I
You
think
know-
gut is important.
When my daughter Zara, in the beginning, she really falls sick. This cold, cough, fever, it doesn't happen. But whenever it did, she would go on this fast. She just wouldn't eat or drink. And it was so hard. We would go all hysterical, putting medicine in because you have to give her. But she refused, like there was no way you can force anything.
Yeah.
And what she would do is, whichever room had the sun coming in, she would go and lie there. And, like prana,
Yes.
she would be healing her body.
Yes.
And once she didn't eat for 5 days. So normally it used to be a 3-day fast. So I said, okay, 3 days. Now she'll eat. 4th day we tried and nothing. 5th day, nothing. So then I took her to emergency and I said, please put her on the drip because she's not eaten or drunk for 5 days. And they did all her parameters. They said, she's fine. Take her back home. We're not giving her a drip. I said, she's starving. Okay, so then on the 7th day, I went back and I said, I don't care, just put her on the drip, And they said, but see, everything is fine. So that time was the first time it took her so long to heal. But she heals herself. Zara will never, ever touch fast food. Like she knows. We call her a snob because in the malls, if we take her to a food court, she won't eat. It's like, this food I don't touch. She won't eat it.
That's a good thing.
It's very good. No. Now, with this I'm talking about.
No,
like,
I know. I
trying
think
to
as
figure
parents have that guilt. I've brought that out. It's like a treat, right? Please
Yeah.
eat.
out. Should I just give her some chicken nuggets? But she'll make the weirdest face and like she's going to throw up on you.
Yes.
If you put that in my mouth, I'll throw up. So she communicates in that sense.
Yeah.
Like, don't give it to me. We not tried it ever again.
Yeah.
This is like so many years. But it's like she knows.
Yeah, I know, because I think fever, every parent fears, because especially 38.9 high grade fever, you want to kind of put it down. Yes, you have to put it down, but don't fear the fever because your body is just trying to adjust. Over a period of time, because of these analgesics, these pain medications, the threshold of people has come down. And you don't want to do that. Don't get your body used to things which are not useful. So what do you do when you have? I'm telling you, those small onions you get. You need to peel that, crush it, and put it in honey. Have that. Have it otherwise, and warm it with saffron. Have that. Good saffron. It is very good. I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, and I'm a physician who knows all the pharmaceuticals, but that even for my own children, that is a very last resort. My older one, the one you've met, he has got overly enlarged tonsils. Compared to any child, because when he was young, I had my twins. So this boy, right after 40 days also have not completed, this boy had to get admitted in the hospital because he had very end, he was not eating and he had pus-filled, and his father was also not there. So I remember that. And that was the only time that boy was admitted in the hospital. He, in 3 days, and they had to put that slab
Yeah.
because he would move. And after that day, he's like, Ma, I'll do anything. But so he knows, he understands, okay, something is happening. He will start his saltwater gargles. He will ask for the kadha at home. So he knows the preventative thing he will do. He'll go and he will take a round walk at the, on the track because he wants to sweat it out like his grandfather. My dad, Alhamdulillah, he doesn't have any chronic conditions, no chronic. He's 66? And everybody who looks at him like, yeah, you don't even have a belly, you don't look your age and all of that, because he still makes sure that he's like, I don't do gym and all. I need to go under the sunlight and I need to do my walk and my jog, and that is what has kept him fit for all these years. And please, mashallah, he has put mithai ka dabba also. And how he does it. But you see, he knows his body. I've never seen him eat after 7, 8 o'clock. Never. I've never seen him. He does his fast. Every Monday, Thursday, he has his fast. He is somebody who's the early riser in the house. 3:30 he's up. So you see, I've seen that lifestyle. So that's the thing, when you have to create that lifestyle for you. And now what? Is he having a stick or something? No, nothing. Because you want,
Please stop
at
it.
that age,
My husband is 65. He doesn't need a stick.
no, because you see, when you grow older, the thing happens, I don't want to be dependent, because you've been doing things for a long time. Like when you reach your retirement, like I was doing something, now suddenly there's nothing to do. So every human being goes through that cycle, and I feel that health should be the last thing that they should be. So early age, don't let the stress consume you, even for the children. Like parents of the children of determination, they are so stressed that they don't realize that they are also, so you have to make a, so when anybody who's coming to me, like today also, the mother that I met, I tell them, okay, now 6 hours he'll be in school, right? What have you planned? I asked her, what have you planned? Are you going to be on the mobile? That is the big no. I always say not more than 30 minutes, please. Because what is happening if you're spending so much time on a device and on social media, mindless scrolling, you have not dealt with any of the emotion. You're not dealing with things. And then what happens when the responsibility, when you're back into the real world, again I have to, without me, the child is not going to do anything. That is exactly what the mother told me. I'm like, no. He will do everything, but first you take care of yourself. So what are you going to do? So then she said, yeah, there are certain classes that I want to do. And yeah, do that. Because when you take time for yourself in something which is positive, not mindless, you are healing yourself, because when the time that your child needs, you are going to give him your 100% with a positive mindset, not with a negative mindset. Because the children, I can tell you something, Gulshan, at least, I mean, you have a daughter, that I'm a nobody, and I meet unknown kids, on regular basis. I can tell you, they sense energy. They sense energy. I might be having a very smiling face in my office, and I'm cleaning, but the naughtiest of the naughtiest child, when they come, and when the days when I'm not having good days, and when they come and they just do this, and the parent is also like, he was just eating tissue, what happened to him? From that switch they see.
Yeah.
And in my heart I know, okay, this is because the children sense,
Pick it up.
they sense that and I think, and I do, and there is a reason why I take a limited number of children of autism or Down syndrome. Why? Because they help me keep me grounded. I am surrounded by a lot of corporate toxicity and stuff like that, but I think I don't heal them, they heal me. Because I want to be grounded. I don't want to lose this humanity thing. It is very important for me. Because I know one thing, the day I become like a proper business, I will step out of my medical practice. I will just be running a business, but I will not see anybody, because then I can't be true. I have taken an oath, I mean, for me, there was days I still,
I
my
wish
parents,
every doctor remembers the oath they've
my
taken.
parents, they are the constant reminders. My son had not even turned like 2 years old, my older one. And when this pandemic happened, they're like, no, you have taken an oath for your country, you have to go. And my husband is like, wow, बहुत ही patriotic parents hai yaar. So and he's like, but she's breastfeeding the child. He's like, it's okay, but this is also because pandemic doesn't happen like what every 2 days, but because at that time the government said that we need every physician. So that 1 year has been one I was away from the family and stuff like that. So it was one of the very difficult. I think that's another reason I don't want to leave, because sometimes as a practitioner, because this is something that people don't realize, because as a doctor you sometimes don't give much time in your own house and you see your own children, and working with children, it's a constant reminder for me that I go back home and I give them. So when I'm at home, I ensure my appointments are worked around the time that I can at least make it to the school events or something, because that is important, because I have seen how that scarred my older son. Abu Dhabi was a fear name. It has taken me a very long time for put in happy memories for him, because 1 year though I was away, but from the second year that boy used to sit with me in that baby car seat and come with me to Abu Dhabi. Sleep, do nothing, not like my twins who turn around the house, but this boy was traveling with me to Abu Dhabi and coming back. Nobody would know there is a child in the clinic. I mean, just staying with anybody doing his thing. So that's why I think I have that fondness with my older one. Now I don't know. So now he's like, okay, fine, you're not going to Abu Dhabi. He never used to call it Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi. So I was like, no, I'm not. So, so I have to do something which I can balance even my life, because very early on I realized I cannot do this, because if I see my children suffer, because one of my twin, we did have, his head circumference is small and his milestones were not on. You can imagine I'm a doctor thing and I'm just like, this something, and my mom is like, Hina, really, don't you see something is wrong with him? Something. I'm like, I know it. And I was telling them even before when they started questioning me, because now, like recently, my mom was like, listen, we really need to take him again for a checkup. And when I used to tell them after the part, that time they're like, oh, Hina is a. But when we had gone to Jalila and when they confirmed that his head circumference, because the youngest one, because they're twins, you're saying he's running. This guy is just dragging himself on the floor, not saying anything. So it's a very clear differentiation anyways. And, the words are not clear. Gulshan, at that time, I stopped everything for 6 months, and it was just about me and that twin. Sitting with him, building. So all the things that I tell the other parents, be positive.
You have to.
I implemented all that, so that's that feeling. Now as a parent, now I'm also thinking, okay, there is something wrong, because at that time I thought he's having Angelman or something, that genetic condition.
It's hard.
I think that it was like a tsunami inside me. I can tell you, it was too much. I gave in everything for that, because the one day, because this child has pulled the TV and he has fell down on where that glass of that TV did not break on him, but he's like under that TV, and I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, no, I need to give. And now the progress, because sometimes I did put some clips up on my Insta to tell the parents, because see, in my practice, not everybody likes to show their journey and stuff, right? So asked my husband, are you comfortable if he's like, it's okay. I mean, if it's something that can help others, it's okay. So in that, I showed like what is the difference. And now when you see my twin, now it was like he was running to catch all the milestones that he had missed out. And now the youngest one has become the grumpy one. And like, okay, what is this boy doing? But now he does it, He's doing, and I know even now there are days, because there is one pillow he likes, and I cannot tell you, Gulshan, I can't put that pillow for wash. That cotton of that pillow has become so bad, but that is his comfort, whenever he's afraid or something, he needs that. He just needs it. He will drag it with him everywhere in the house, and he has to be with it and everything. That is his comfort. So there are moments I do get it, because he has got till now what I have not achieved is making him understand the sense of fear. So if I take him out and if he's hanging, he'll just leave it. He's like, okay, the world is going to catch me. He doesn't care. of any of that. The other
But
two is
many times there have been consequences if you, and then
no, he's done it multiple.
Okay.
He's had multiple head injuries because of
Oops.
it.
Okay.
Like I've given him that moment. Up now, I have also become scared. But yeah, it takes. So that is something that sense of fear he still doesn't have. But it is a journey. So I know the feeling. I don't know if you being a doctor, if you're going to tell me, oh doc, did you run a genetic test for him? I think I have not done it for him yet because he's not 3. Everything if I would want to do, I would do it after that age. But I have seen him climb those milestones, and I'm telling you, it was that I could have just sulked down and become disappointed because before I had these twins, because I've prayed to God for these twins because I had a miscarriage, and as a frontliner when I was working, I lost a set of twins, and I was like, okay, what is this? I'm doing so much for the community. But the next year, immediately, I mean, it was no. I still got twins. So for me, no. And I think every child, anytime a parent brings a child into this world, they are responsible. So as a parent, I feel responsible. As a mother, I feel responsible, and that is what
and
I try
I
to put
think
in
that's
work.
why a lot of the parents can relate to you. You know, it's
It's
really
just-
really nice.
Maybe that's the thing. I'm telling you, it's a circle of life. As a doctor, you should not have. You can't have empathy. That is the first thing that they are telling you. Listen, you will not be able to treat anybody if you are so emotional, and that was my issue. I could not.
But
You have
how
to work through
wrong
it.
they are.
No, it does. That's why I think surgical field because seeing deaths. In my years of practice, I've seen a lot of deaths. Okay, I've seen a lot of people dying. I've been at their deathbeds. I've heard their stories, and the regrets. And it was not about. And the regret was never money or something. Every time the regret, I wish I had given more time. I wish I had spent more time with my family. I wish I had taken care of myself more. Because that is a thing. Now, when we talk about the longevity, when we talk about healing, that is the reason I want to give the children of determination a chance. Why should the longevity and why should all this new biohacking only be for people who are neurotypical?
Typical.
They deserve it too. Why can't they? So, trying to make it affordable, trying to make them see the value is important but again it is that parents have to feel that yes the child then they will do it because others are doing it. You don't want to be in that. That's why I said I do not sit and have like a pity talk. Oh, so sad. No, what do you mean by that? No, we all are different. Like there have been so many people so called they look very normal but they're having mental health issues. What do you know? Everybody. So now we are in that era, we can't even say neurotypical or neurodiverse. Everybody has a place. We have to create that place. Our job as adults is to empower them. We cannot restrict them just because okay ठीक है अगर neurotypical is achieving this in a year, this child might take 3 years but they'll achieve, right? It's better than no achievements. We have to work towards it and might be doing it much better than the neurotypical.
We can go on
Yes,
and
I
on and
got
on. But thank you so much. And I hope you all found this interesting. Yeah, it was, and for me, it was amazing.
Oh, thank you,
And I'm
Gulshan.
so glad I got you to talk about what is really important.
No,
And
thank
to
you.
remind all the doctors that you have taken a vow. So thank you so much for being
Thank
there.
you for having me here.
And
Thank
where
you.
can people reach you?
So the center that I run is Vital Vibes Health and Wellness. So they can, of course, they can get in touch with you. They can definitely get in touch with you. You can get them connected to my personal number or the clinic's number. So definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.